Well, hey, you all. Mark Boyle. And I've been thinking about doing a few different types of vlogs or whatever we're calling this these days. And in one I haven't yet posted, but I'll be getting it up soon. Talked a little bit about, not a lot of religious beliefs, but on commitments and honoring things and standing for your word, your integrity, who you are as a person. And so I got a little bit into that in my last vlog. And I thought, I touched on a few things that are important to me. And I thought, it might be better to do a little more of that. See if I can get this camera to cooperate. There you go. So that's what I'm going to do. So this one, I was, what got my brain cylinders firing, or should I say misfiring, was watching, it's a mini-series on Waco. And it was on Prime. It's free. I think everybody should watch it. And I was remembering, back then in the 90s, between that and what happened in Ruby Ridge, and also just reading books and stuff and fighting with the man, big government, I really became detached from politics and government as a whole. And if you remember that period in time when Clinton was, on a witch hunt for all things militia, and he really destroyed the value of a militia and the meaning of militias and the importance of them, it was easy to see what was going on in these other areas with like Ruby Ridge and Waco, and even before that, there was somewhere in Utah where a parent was literally shot to death by government officials because he wasn't sending his kids to school. So I guess that was a more important lesson to teach Americans, is like, you do what we fucking say because we're the ultimate teacher, and if you don't, well, we'll just kill you. So I'm watching this thing on Waco, and what really pissed me off was not just the arrogance of the alphabet bureaucracies, because I understand it's a mini-series and it probably has a different twist to it, depending on who the director is and the writer. The feds could be the good guys or the bad guys. It's kind of like social media. And, I was looking up something on some of these things earlier today. And like out of 10 pages of a Google search, they were all government agencies with their, here's what we found, go away, and media groups, but not a lot of private, you and I type posts. And maybe back then, that social media wasn't a thing. So really you only got your news and your information from the fucking media and the fucking government. So what I'm watching this and I'm going, what the fuck? Once again, I'm reliving the 90s and becoming quite disengaged with the world in which we live. It's like, that's why I got so pissed. So, if we go, I think Ruby Ridge happened before Waco. And so Randy Weaver was arrested originally by the county sheriff and agents of the, BATF, or whatever they call them nowadays, E, and it's almost like the gay community. They got so many fucking initials added to their alphabet soup. But anyway, there were agents there. And, if you study, which is, It's something you'd have to do. The thing with Waco was similar. It was a gun charge. The ATF started the whole fuck up, and then it morphed into, a siege, and then a lot of innocent people dying. And what really pisses me off is the ATF and these federal agents and these asshats that fucking run amok, and the FBI now, which is running amok. You start to go, wait a minute. I'm trying to be an American here, and I love America, and I love the flag, and, fuck yeah. And I'm looking at these, three-letter agencies thinking, you guys are really out of control. I mean, if you or I got into a dispute with somebody, and then we took the whole clan over there and started surrounding their houses and then said, come out, we'll talk about it. And they're like, I'm not going to come out, man. You scare me. Look at you. You got your whole family there and four-wheel drives, and you're all packing heat and shit. And what? You're yelling at me, and you just shot my damn dog. No, come out. We can't have this conversation till you come out here. And then if you got mad and just shot up their whole house and killed, all the children and shot, maybe even your neighbor and stuff, you would pretty much go to jail because you were unreasonable. You became a vigilante. Well, is that a word you can only use on private citizens? I mean, aren't the FBI and the ATF and the HRT and all these guys actually vigilantes? Because they come in with overwhelming force, shock and awe. And then naturally you retreat to your house and go, holy fuck. Close the windows. These fuckers are shooting at us. And then their only argument to you is come out, come out, come out. And you're like, we can talk through the wall here. You fucking call me. And then, so they call you. They got their negotiator calls you, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, this, that, and the other thing. And you're like, I'm sorry, you're talking to me about an alleged minor, gun ATF allegation. It's not even proven yet. It's just somebody said they think I have a silencer, a suppressed weapon, and I've converted it into an automatic, which I haven't. And if I did, I have 200 permits for the ones I did. So what makes me a suspect? And they're like, well, apparently we can't talk to you about this. You need to come out and surrender. It's like, well, I tried going out there when you guys, surrounded my house and ran over my fucking dog. And then when I came out, I said, hey, there's children in here. You started shooting at me. So no, I think I'll stay here. Well, then okay, fine. That's the way you want to be about it. We're going to go all vigilante on you and come in and burn your fucking house down. So I would say, based on historical figures and facts, this is just like 2 or 3 that I actually looked into that I was kind of aware of in my life about these things happening. I would say that if I was talking to you, and I really don't even know you other than maybe you're a follower of mine, and you said, hey, Mark, come on out, let's have a conversation. I got an issue with you. I would come out and probably bring you a beer. And if the ATF or any of those other alphabet soup agencies came out and wanted to talk to me, I'd say, no, you just stay on your side of the line. I don't trust you based on past events. And then they would get more mad and then go and prove my point. So, it's always this shock and awe, overwhelming force thing. And I talked about this a few podcasts ago about LaVoy Finicum. And not so much the issue with LaVoy Finicum, but oath keepers and constitutional sheriffs and all these groups, the 3%ers that, all go around patting each other on the back and patting themselves on the back. Good job. Oh, good job on you. No, good on you, buddy. But they can't seem to get together and come up with a plan to at least take a stand against this oppressive ATF, FBI, all these these three-letter agencies that are just wrong. They're wrong. I mean, it's not that I'm not patriotic, and it's not that I don't believe in the rule of law. It's just they're fucking wrong. Pretty simple. If your doctor drags you in, gives you a shot, and you die, apparently he was wrong. I'm not saying all medical people are wrong. It's that motherfucker was wrong. So they're wrong. And these groups that, we're all part of and send them money and, show up to their fucking rallies and wave flags and shit. And what are they doing? I mean, there's a way to come up with a game plan. They just, I don't know, are they inept? Can't figure out a game plan? Are they stupid? Are they lazy? Are they afraid? Because it would be pretty simple to do a shock and awe on them. Like, if you got 100,000 members between all them groups and you pick 10, 15, 20 counties to stage a protest, peaceful one, not like J6, but, and do like LaVoy Finicum did and just go there and go, hey, we want to be listened to. Well, what happened with LaVoy Finicum is the FBI showed up. A lot of them. Well, there was him and his supporters. And all of the FBI. But what if that happened 20 times on one day? One date in a whole year that the Constitutional Sheriff's Association said, we have 30 sheriffs that are very constitutional. So these are the counties we're gonna do our wee little protests in. And we have favorable media in those areas, even though it's small media, small radio stations and small papers. It's small. Fuck the big guys. And the community is pretty, right-leaning, let's just say. They're not all Republicans or Democrats, but they're common sense. They're fucking farmers. Then you do it there. So you don't get this shitstorm fuckfest that was going on in Harney County, where LaVoy Finicum was. See, because all the media showed up there, and then all the people are like, look at all these people here. Well, the protesters were up at the sanctuary. So who was there in the town paying, eating at hotels and restaurants and booking all the rooms and stuff like that? That was the media and the FBI guys. But they made it look like it was Finicum. And so it went south because they had shit for PR. But if you had 20 of them happen on, January 10 or fucking July 22nd, that's my fucking birthday. There's a random number. And it all happens then. The FBI and all these yo-yos can't amass enough people to show up and shock and awe. So now they're just going to send a bunch of negotiators going, hey, let's talk. Let's go have a cup of coffee. Their first move is not going to be to shoot some motherfucker and then go there. And then if you get mad and defend yourself and shoot back, they shot a federal agent. They were shooting at us. Never mind that you started it, you cocksuckers. So, when I went to school, this 60s and 70s. So, every once in a while you get some ass hat. It's like, hey, I heard you called my sister a name. And then I would go, you don't have a sister, dude. What are you talking about? And then they'd laugh because they're just trying to square off with you and be a dick. And that's like these groups. They go in, they scare the piss out of somebody, and then one of their agents shoots your dog because it's in your yard barking at them, and then everybody starts shooting because the gun went off. That's what happened in Waco, really. And there was footage of it. I don't know if it ever got released in trial, but it was there. Now, I'm not saying that LaVoy was right. I'm not saying Weaver was right. And I'm not saying that David Koresh was right. They might have had illegal guns. Maybe not, because David Koresh and his Branch Davidian were going to gun shows selling guns. And they had a lawyer, a Harvard lawyer in their group that made sure they had permits for everything they did. So it was a misunderstanding that did not have to go south. Now, Weaver was being arrested and harassed for a sawed-off shotgun. And the ATF in spite of what you might think, is that agency in the Federal Firearms Act has no authority on United States citizens, only to citizens of provinces and territories. And you have to look it up. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be your silver bullet, because, the IRS has no authority. They can't tax your income. That's according to the Supreme Court. But it doesn't matter, see. So you walk a fine line. You might be right. You're still going to end up in jail because the system is fucked. I could probably jump on a grizzly bear, and if I could get my hand around it in his throat, I could maybe suffocate him. But before that happened, I would bleed out and die. It's fucking given. So this is how these agencies are. They've taken this moral authority in the name of, well, we're a nation of laws. And therefore they abuse it to all extremes. So what I was looking at these 3 cases, and there's a lot more, and I was saying, what's the one thing that is missing in all of these stories? What happened in Harney County was LaVoy Finicum. So all these groups and all this stuff and protests and people and and a lot of American flags and a lot of media. Waco, you had the ATF started the whole mess, and then the FBI stepped in and, to provide cover. So, because the ATF had already fucked up in Ruby Ridge, they had shit all over their shoes. So the FBI's like, here, we'll go fuck this one up. And then they had their HRT, which is a division of the ATF, which is, I guess, hostage recovery. It's some fucking bullshit acronym that's supposed to make you feel all patriotic and, wet your pants when you see them. It's like, hi, wow, how do I get a vest like that? And then you have, what happened on Ruby Ridge, which is, another gun thing, and it says, Ruby Ridge is shorthand phrase for the events that occurred in 1992 in Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Now, I got to think about this here. It's Idaho, very conservative, very gun right leaning, very constitutional. Most of Idaho is they're not a bunch of libtards, okay? Harney County, that's in Oregon. A lot of constitutional people there in Oregon. It's not a bleeding heart fucking county by any means. And then you have Waco. Well, Waco is in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. Well, you can bend us over and screw us. That's fine. We'll allow you to kill a bunch of religious people. I don't know. I remember how many children, like 29 children died. So what is the theme that is missing in all of this? And it even happened in Baltimore with the riots during the George Floyd thing, I think it was. What was missing? What was the one thing that would make some fucking sense that could, a person or an entity that could step in the room and go, hey, wait a minute. Who is that? Besides Jesus or whatever you think. Well, I think if you consider all of these happen in a county, and those counties have a sheriff. And a sheriff could walk into that room and go, wait a fucking minute. This is my county, and these are my constituents. I work for them, and you have no authority. The federal government has no authority, no jurisdiction in my county unless I allow it. Wow, really? Look, I did not know that. So you had Harney County. Now, the sheriff, David Ward, I think was his name. Yeah. He spent most of that whole siege under his desk, pissing himself because he was an ass. And somehow he was connected with the judge in that case that was ruling all against everything that they were trying to do there with what Finicum was trying to show. It's like, hey, stop this, because they had arrested the Hammond family for nothing, basically. And so he was useless as tits on a board, as we used to say. And then you look at Ruby Ridge. Well, the sheriff back then, it was Bruce Whittaker. He had actually gone with the ATF agents to arrest him the first time. So I guess there was an arrest, and then you'd have to look it up. I was so pissed during that time. It's like, fuck all this. I'm going to go back to work and get drunk. Piss on this. And so he was there, but obviously there for comic relief. And then you had Waco, which was Sheriff Jack Harwell. Now in the show, it shows him, sitting there at a bar being all bummed out, having a drink, which is fine. I'm not talking about that as a point. But, the guy from the FBI, the negotiator, comes in and he's like, hey, I need you. He trusts you. And I find that if you talk to him, because Koresh trusts you, we might be able to make a little progress. So he was involved. Another, fucking comic relief douchebag. So my point is, you had 3 sheriffs swore an oath to the state Constitution. And when you want to talk about the rule of law, what that means is the rule of law is what is the supreme law of the land? The Constitution. Okay, I'll give you that one. So in a county, the supreme law of the land would be your state constitution. And your state constitution clearly states in all 50 United States that the supreme law is the U.S. Constitution. So it's not laws that you uphold that some bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. pulls out of their ass. It's the constitutional law only. And so when the ATF shows up with no authority and wants to arrest somebody for a fucking minor violation in an area, that sheriff has all the authority to go, wait a tick, boys. He should have rolled into Waco and went, what is this? This looks like a military occupation here. You got ATF, you got ATF, FBI, you have HRT, you have military vehicles, you have some National Guard guys here. What the fuck is going on in my county? It's like, my kids can go to your house and you have authority, but if your kids come to my house, I have authority. So if I walk in and they're all drinking, I'm like, what the fuck is happening in my house? See, but these sheriffs that swear an oath, where did that oath go in Waco? Where did that, we know where the oath went in with Harney County with David Ward. So he went under the desk where he was, cowering. Oh, my God. I don't want to piss off the judge. And the governor, I think I'm sleeping with her, but I'm too stupid to know. Kate Brown, by the way, still the governor, so nobody cares. I mean, this is all a rant in the void of who the fuck cares space. So when a problem happens, and this is, I want to get to the religious type of aspect to this, is like, you swore a fucking oath. If you're in law enforcement, and I don't care what branch of fucking bureaucracy and where you end up in the pile of red tape, you swore an oath. Do you understand what an oath is? I mean, it's before God, angels, and witnesses. You swear or affirm on a Bible that you're going to do these things. And when you're a sheriff, your duty is to the people of your county. And so when an agency or even a city steps across that line and violates your rights, the the guy or the girl that you should be able to call when you call 911, just like in the show Waco. He's like, call for help. It's like, who do you call when you're being attacked by your government? You call the sheriff. Why? Because you elected him. He is the only elected law enforcement in your state, is your county. You have a governor who's, kind of like the president, but the governor can't tell a sheriff to stop doing something because the sheriff represents the people, and the Constitution says all authority goes to the states and the people. So when you're upholding the Constitution, you're upholding your oath to the people. Those people that live next door to you, those houses all around in your community, the kids on the fucking bicycles, the people driving down the road waving at you when you drive by. If you're in a small area, if you're in a county, you might not want to wave at them because they might shoot you. So those are your people. Those are the people that elect you, or maybe George Soros in some counties, I don't know. But there's 3,300 counties in America, and those sheriffs are the masters of the universe when it comes to law enforcement in that area. They are the biggest, meanest, titanium-tipped teeth dog on the porch. Nobody can fuck with them. And yet, these agencies just come strolling in. Hi, we're taking over your county. And then we're going to burn down that church with 50-some people in it, and we're going to shoot them all and fuck them all up and torment them, and then we're going to leave. Don't worry, your name won't be in it because, well, you're not an active participant. Go home, have a beer, shut the fuck up. And that's what happened in my Hammond County. Yeah, it's like, oh, I can go home. Good. I don't have a dog in this fight. No, you're only the fucking sheriff, you dick. So you take an oath. You swear, basically, to God, angels, and witnesses that you're going to do what you said you're going to do. It's not a fucking photo op. So it's an oath. It's a covenant. God looks at those things pretty seriously when you go. I mean, especially if you're Christian, you stick your hand on the Bible. Hey, God, yo, you watching? This is what I'm going to do in your name. And then you turn around like on your wedding day and you say in front of these angels and these witnesses that testify that you got married and blah, 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 and you love her and you're going to honor and cherish her and defend her. But before your honeymoon night, you're going to bang her sister. Because then you're a piece of shit. So to bring it down to how I look at law enforcement, I mean, I love them. Those guys, I mean, I give them all, I'll give them a discount if they want in my business because they're doing something I really wouldn't want to have to do myself because basically I'm kind of an old fuck and I don't want to get shot at. But I see a lot of these laws that they get shot at for enforcing are stupid fucking victimless laws, but whatever. I think they're cool. Like firemen, are they heroes? No, but I'm not going to run into a burning fucking building. So I don't have a problem with them. What I have a problem with is my mayor, let's say, he swears that oath also. And then he appoints or hires a chief of police. And that guy's just his buddy. I don't care that his son sells crack. Just keep the peace. I gotta go. Congrats. Good luck. But you swore a fucking oath, you dick. What do you want me to do about it? I'm just a mayor for a few years. I don't have any authority here. No, you had the authority to hire that guy who's going to wreck everyone's life, but hey, whatever. So we have a sheriff. And the sheriff basically gives the checkbook to that chief of police and all the chiefs of police in his county. And he's like, here's your ticket book. I cover that shit. I'm the one covering the checks you write, basically. And if you fuck up, I will pull your badge and arrest you. And police chiefs should know that, but they don't. They go, well, I work for the mayor. Oh, well, then it's just a job. Then shut the fuck up and do your job. You're not that goddamn important. Because the sheriff can come and arrest you, right? Well, these FBI guys and these ATF guys, same fucking thing. They're bureaucrats. They got a job. Their orders don't even come from up on high. They just come from another bureaucrat, appointed by another bureaucrat. But they're not elected. They're no more elected than the chief of police. And you can honor them, and you can support them, and you can go to their picnics, and you can help them, and you can wave at them when you're driving down the road and all that. Because they're just good people trying to do their job. And that's fine. What really pisses me off is these fucking sheriffs. Honestly, all the other law enforcement, they're just doing their job, and if they're doing it shitty, maybe they should be fired. But I elect my sheriff. You elect your sheriff. They answer to you, nobody else. They don't answer to fucking Homeland Security or any of that shit. They answer to you. And if they don't like that, quit. Go get another job at Homeland Security. But when I'm fucking bringing you to the party, you will dance with me or get the fuck out. And then they go, I agree with you, Mark. I'll swear a fucking oath on that. I'll shake your hand. I'll turn around and stab you in the back. But hey, we got an oath here, man. Got it. Got you, Mark. So you look at all of these things that have gone on, all the way to the riots, the BLM riots, and all this stuff, the Waco and Ruby Ridge and stuff, is so unjust, so illegal, so wrong. And you know, you watch these shows about, you know, and I'm not a bleeding heart. I really am not. You know, I was watching something on this thing in New York where they were just rounding up black kids because they were at a park and somebody got raped. And they were lying to these kids going, your friend said you raped her. And I'm thinking, what an injustice. These are minors and their parents aren't even around. And the cops are, you know, barking orders at these kids and shit like that. And they're like, what were you doing at that park at 8:30 at night or 9 o'clock at night? It's like, hey, you built the fucking park so we could go play basketball and hang out with our friends. It's a park. You know, they didn't never say, you know, these kids were all rounded up for curfew violations. No, it's a park. What were you doing at the park? See, something bad happened there. So now they round up all these kids and go, why were you there? Say, hey, fucker, why were you at the Circle K? Well, I was buying a coffee. Well, I was at the park playing with my friends. Oh, okay. We got no proof. We're just being dicks. And we're lying to you to get you to confess something you didn't do. See, this is the America we live in. Only people that can do anything about it is the sheriff. Sorry. Your mayor can't. He's not law enforcement. The police can't. They're not really elected. They can fuck things up royally, but they can't do a whole lot about anything else. So it's the sheriff. I'm sorry. That's the only person you can point your finger at and go, dude, you're fucking up. I don't know. It's a rant. And to me, it's the same as my other rant about honoring your commitments to people. You swear an oath. Take it seriously. This is the fall of our nation because of these death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's a sheriff that won't honor his oath. It's a political leader that doesn't even understand how things work. He's just got elected because he wanted to and he had money, and it's like, hey, that's cool. And they don't realize that it's eroding, it's breaking. You know, the river outside of your house that's really big is slowly moving toward your house. And every 4 or 5 years, 10 feet of your yard just drop into the river and wash off. And now it's right at your porch, and it's been 9 years. And you're just oblivious? It's like, well, it'll quit now. Well, it hasn't quit for 100 fucking years, but it'll quit now. And then when your house is being washed down the river, it's like, what happened? Oh my God, I want my house back. Hey, you want your country back? Yeah, same thing's happening. We need to hold them to a higher standard. This is our country. It is that simple. The pyramid, the power pyramid, is not start up here at the presidency and trickle down to we, the people underneath the pyramid, trying to hold it up and not get smashed. No, we're at the top of the pyramid. Everything has to flow up to us. And if we don't want it to come that high, just say no. See, because the federal government doesn't have authority in state matters. Another good sheriff to talk about, and this is kind of a sidebar, but, when Rosa Parks got on the bus, that whole thing, we've all heard the story 1,000 times. We listened to it in school. We've been hammered on it forever. What if she had had a sheriff in her community that would have, when the police showed up, the sheriff would have showed up and go, what's going on, boys? It's like, well, she won't go to the back of the bus. It's like, well, why should she? Well, because she's black. Oh, okay. See, if the sheriff had been doing his job, it's like, look, guys, I didn't hire you to do this. I'm going to talk to your mayor who pays your check. And I'm going to see to this bullshit stops. Miss Parks, do you need an escort home? These men seem to be kind of pissed off. It's like, well, yes, thank you, Sheriff. Drive her home. Husband could have been standing out there. It's like, what's going on? What'd she do? We okay? Sheriff said, no. She was being harassed on the bus by the police, and I gave her a ride home. I'm going to get to the bottom of this bullshit. Oh, well, thank you. Do you have a gun in your house? No, normally. Back then, black guy would go, oh, no. No. We carry pitchforks and tars and feathers around here, y'all. But, it's like, yeah, I got a gun. It's like, well, good. I want you to keep that loaded and by the front door or wherever you do, because there's a lot of people now that are kind of pissed about what I did, and they're mad at her. They're not mad at me because I did the right thing. They're mad at her just because she wouldn't go to the back of the bus. So if you have any troubles, you let me know. You give me a call. In fact, if you'd feel better, I'll leave a deputy here tonight just till things calm down. See, that's what sheriffs can do. I'm not saying they do. They rarely do they do that. But that's how simplistic it should work. But it doesn't. And so it's hard to not sit there and go, what the fuck? And honestly, it's like, you can carry an umbrella during a storm, but everywhere around you, rain is just pouring off of that umbrella. And if you don't stay right under it, you're going to get wet. So you're deflecting a lot of the rain, but it's just pouring. And you can't get out from under the umbrella. Let's call it, your safe zone, your safe space. Because if you do, you're just going to get drenched. And all of that rain is the injustice that's pouring down on us every fucking day by people in office that have sworn an oath to care about you, ignoring that oath, using it for toilet paper, and hoping you just step outside that umbrella a little bit so they can rain all over your parade. And that's how it is. I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I really don't. Like I said, 20, 30 years ago, I just tuned out. It's just like, nothing I can do about it. It's whatever. I'll just keep my nose clean and duck. But then our son went to Iraq in an unjust war in the middle of fucking nowhere. And while he was over there, we watched the news all the time. And the news is kind of a gateway drug to giving a fuck because they're full of shit. So you got to read, understand more that's going on because you're worried about your family, your son. And so it kind of sucked me back in, It's just like that first fix. Got to watch the news. How's he doing? Is everything going? Okay, where's he at? Oh, he's over there. It's like, oh, fuck. And then pretty soon, he comes back. He's fine. Everything's good. He's out, got a job, doing shit. He's fine. Still addicted to that fucking news. So I don't know what to tell you. As an American, I read something just today or something that's like, let me find it because it's a cool quote, talking about the economics, talking about another shitstorm on the horizon, more rain. And I think it was Peter Schiff that mentioned this to Mike Adams on the podcast. It's like, the banks won't fail. Your money in the bank will fail. And it's like, holy shit, you're right. See, the banks always get made whole. Once again, you have bureaucrats that are supposed to be watching this and protecting our currency and our money in this country. Not happening. Did they take an oath? Yes, they did. Did the president take an oath? Yes, he did. Did your mayor take an oath? Yes, he or she did. Did you take an oath? Are you an oath keeper? Are you in law enforcement? Is there an oath in your background somewhere that you swore to God you would honor? And are you still honoring it? Or are you just one of them people that go along and get along, like the sheriff at Ruby Ridge, It's like the ATF goes, hey, come on, let's go arrest this guy. Okay, cool. How do I get a job with you guys? You got a cool job. And in the thing with Waco, he's like, this thing has been going on long enough. It's like, excuse me, donut-eating bureaucrat. What else are you going to do with your fucking time? You get paid whether you're sitting there at Waco eating donuts and drinking coffee and being a dick, or you're back at the office eating donuts, drinking coffee, and being a dick. But now he's in a hurry. We got to wrap this up. Federal government wants results. Well, tell them to get out here and quit fucking things up. So, see, nobody takes the high ground. That's why I have no friends, because I will stand up and go, why don't you do your fucking job? Okay, well, then don't. Sorry I brought it up. Fuck. Go about your business being a douche. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Love you all. I hope this kind of helped, at least, food for thought. Love you. Bye-bye.
We made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back.
I'm your huckleberry.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
That's just my game.